I just tripped something on the way out of the tent and cut my foot open.
I'm walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul.
Hi, I'm Wood Glue, and this is mile 41 on the Pacific Crest Trail. I am headed down to Scissors Crossing at mile 77, and that's the plan. But let me tell you, there's snow up here. So I parked my car up at the Red Tail Roost Volunteer Center parking lot. You have to have an adventure pass to park there. But then I just crossed the highway. That's Sunrise Hwy, I believe. And go down a little ways and you get to Desert View Trail, Desert View Road, something like that. And that brings you down to the PCT. Probably half a mile walk to get down to the PCT from the highway. I have a goal to make it all the way down to 77 by tomorrow night. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning right now. It's 31 degrees. Probably 3 or 4 inches of snow that fell on the ground here last night. And suspected low for tonight is going to be about 36 degrees with a wind chill of 31 degrees. So this will be an interesting hike. I've personally never hiked more than 17 miles in a day, and I've never hiked more than 34 miles in 2 days. So this will be an attempt to do 19 miles today and 36 miles in 2 days. In addition to that, I don't have very much experience walking in the rain. I've slept in the rain quite a few times up in the Sierras and even outside of Wrightwood and things like that, but never walked in the rain, so got my rain gear on. All in all, there's gonna be some aspects to this hike that I'll have to embrace the suck, but I think it'll definitely be a one for the books in my personal records anyway. So I'm about an hour in. I've gone a couple miles and climbed a couple hundred feet. So now we're pretty high up here with a nice view. It's starting to warm up a little bit. The sun's come out and the snow is melting very quickly. So it's not really raining, but the water is dropping out of the trees en masse, so I'm getting pretty wet. My goal is to run off of this mountain and get out of the cold weather, get out of the snow and ice, and find a good spot to put my tent for tonight. I'm thinking mile 59, right there at the Sunrise trailhead, off in the hills there. Hopefully I could get out of the wind. If not, I'll continue down the trail a little ways. This is a water fountain that was put in by the Ranger District, Cleveland National Forest, and it does not work. And then over here is a well, and it does not work either. But there is water in the well that you could filter. Something I know that's been asked quite a bit is about the government shutdown affecting the PCT, specifically access to the trail. And I'm treating this as a test. You know, this is going through the Laguna recreation area, and a permit is required to overnight through this area. I wasn't able to get a permit because of the closure, and I haven't been asked for a permit. because of the closure. So I think this specific area is going to be okay. I got to think a lot of areas like this would be the same. I know San Jacinto is a state park, so that'd be a different deal. That's up there at mile 190, and you would have to have a permit through there. But state parks, you're okay. And on the PCT, my understanding is you don't cross a national park until you get to way up in the Sierras someplace. This is Monument Peak. There's an alternate trail that peels off right here and goes up to the radio towers. We're climbing up again, but I anticipate the downhill will start soon. This area is amazing, man. I just literally walked out of the forest about 100 yards ago, and now there's nothing but that. The desert has started. So I'm about 6.5 miles in. It's 11 o'clock, so we're 3 hours on the trail right now, and my average is just barely over 2 miles per hour, but I think that'll pick up here a little bit. Definitely started downhill. The peak up there with the radio towers, you can see it, and that's a probably a 200-300 foot drop down from there. Time to haul the mail. Stopped at a rest stop back there for the highway and took off my rain gear, my rain jacket anyway, and I noticed my down jacket is wet, so that rain jacket leaks. No bueno. Like I said, I didn't get rained on, but plenty of water was falling out of the trees and landing on me, so I got my jacket wet. That's kind of a bummer because I sleep in this jacket. So it's going to be interesting. So I found a way to make it stop raining. Just put on your rain gear and then it doesn't rain anymore. There was a trailhead back there where a bunch of cars were parked, and a bunch of day hikers are going up to Garnet Peak, and stopped to talk to one guy. Pretty cool guy. He hikes this section regularly. He's a local, and pretty neat dude. I am roughly 10 miles into the day, and I've got 8 or 9 to go. I'm not sure exactly, but trying to keep my jacket dry, and that's why I got the poncho out, to try to help the rain jacket do its thing. I also use the poncho to cover my pack, cover the top of it anyway. I'm about 12 miles in, 13 miles, something like that, and it's been raining and hailing quite a bit. There's a day-use campground right here, and I came through here last week on a water check to see if there was water in certain areas, and this day-use campground does have water. So I'll be stopping here and filling all my bottles. From the water reports, it's a 25-mile carry to get down to mile 77, and that's if there's water at the water cache at 77. I'm getting in a car down there, so I'm okay with carrying just enough for 25 miles, but if someone were hiking through, they might need to take more. Now I'm at the water. Kind of crazy that they put a sign on it that says not potable water, but on the PCT water report it shows up on there as good water. So I had to take it. There is no water for the next 25 miles. It's ironic that I'm wearing a poncho and it's raining, but still I haven't passed a stream or anything like that. So I took it, and I'll take a chance like that. You know, if I get sick, it won't be until it's time to go to work on Monday. But I think it'll be okay. My camp, I decided I'm gonna go to 59 all the way. So this will be an 18-19 mile day here, and I think I'm good for it. I'm getting a little tired, but I want to keep on going so that I can end the hike tomorrow. I was planning originally to take this as a 3-day hike. I had a buddy that was going to be going with me, but he didn't like the rain, and so he bowed out, and I thought, well, why not try to turn this into a marathon, see what I could do. I'm looking forward to camp. I've got a different kind of dinner tonight. There is a video I saw that a backpacker, a thru-hiker, was doing like a shake dinner with maltodextrin and Gatorade. So that's my dinner. I didn't bring a cook pot or a stove or a spoon even. All my meals are basically coming out of bottles, and then in the daytime I've got snacks, you know, granola bars and beef jerky and that sort of thing. And I tried that a couple times last week for breakfast, and it did okay. You know, it hung with me for quite some time, so pretty happy with that. So my legs are a little tired, but the biggest thing is my feet are developing blisters. It's really unusual. I think it's just because my socks got wet this morning with the snow. So I don't know, hopefully I peel off my sock and I don't see any blisters, but it sure feels like there's one developing. Just about an hour away from camp location, so I'm not too anxious to stop and deal with it because it's going to get dark. So I'll tough it out and see what we've got when we get there. It's extremely cold here. I'm probably at 5,500 feet, something like that, and it's ridiculous. Probably in the high 30s right now. I didn't make it to the camp that I wanted to camp at. I don't know if I passed it or what happened, but I set up my tent, and not a very level spot, but it was pouring rain at the time, so I didn't really care, but I'll pay for it all night long. The clothes that I had on, every bit of it was soaking wet. Everything except for my beanie. But I've got my quilt on its maiden voyage, backpacker's quilt. It's a 20-degree quilt, and just in case it doesn't work, I've got my 20-degree sleeping bag here too. So we will see.
My blister from yesterday is right here, and it's not too bad. And I just tripped on something on the way out of the tent and cut my foot open. So that's gonna be fun today.
Well, good morning. I got into camp last night, and it was a total of 19.5 miles to get to that spot. And I'm not really sure where I'm at on the PCT mile markers. I'm guessing my camp was at like 60, mile 60, something like that. Because there's no way I could have walked 19 and a half miles and missed and still not gotten to Sunrise Trailhead, which was at mile 59. So that would have been 18 miles right there. So I'm guessing I'm at 60 or so right now, 61. I'm kind of playing with the idea of hitting the button on my spot device and telling my wife that I'm good to go for being picked up this afternoon as opposed to tomorrow afternoon. It's all going to depend on these blisters. I am feeling okay now. I'm about a mile out of camp and that feels all right, but who knows what the next 10 miles will do, you know. And it's 18 miles down to meet my wife. So we will see how that plays out. This morning I woke up and, not to my surprise, we had ice all over the tent, inside the tent even. All my wet clothes inside the tent had ice on them, and that was added a little extra time to getting out of camp this morning. Fortunately, I brought almost a complete change of clothes. I had to put on my wet boots this morning, frozen wet boots, and my rain jacket was a little wet still. I'm also wearing my merino wool undershirt, and that was wet. So putting on wet clothes in 30-degree weather, not fun. Yesterday, when I got that water at the water fountain, I got 5 liters, 4.7 liters to be exact, and that's a good 9 pounds of water. So it was weighing down my pack pretty good. And then I got into the rain. Osprey backpacks don't come standard with a rain poncho. So I was just wearing that poncho and draping it over the top of the backpack. And that didn't work too well. I ended up with easily 10 pounds of water, rainwater, in the backpack. So it was probably 40 pounds by the time I got to camp last night. I started the hike, it was 24, 25 pounds. And then I added that water, brought it up to 30, and then the rainwater probably brought it up to 40 again. So maybe that's why I have blisters. I haven't carried a 40-pound pack in quite some time. Right there in the middle of the screen, I do believe, is San Jacinto Mountain. And I do believe that this is the first sight that you see of it on PCT coming northbound. I'm at mile 61. After Mason Truck Trail, mile 62, it's straight down pretty much the whole way. It's an actual workout just to walk down the hill. Really steep. Looking forward to mile 77 already. That blister is making itself known. It's kind of sore. I'm trying to walk a little different to keep from putting pressure on it. But We'll see how this develops here. I am feeling the pain, man. That cut on my foot is really, really sore. I will make it though, come hell or high water. This area reminds me of San Jacinto. Let me look up there. We were up there yesterday in the fog, in the rain. Mexican food we've been talking about for about 15 miles. Maybe pizza. I'm at mile 69 right now, and I just passed Rodriguez Canyon Road. There was a water faucet there that wasn't working, and somebody had placed a 2-gallon bottle of water there. But something I forgot to mention was the quilt that I have. This was the maiden voyage for that thing, and it has it's a UDG Bandit down quilt, suited for 20 degrees. I was seriously impressed with that thing last night. I brought my 20-degree sleeping bag also, my 4-pound 20-degree sleeping bag, just in case. And I did not need that thing at all. I'm in love with this quilt, and my pad too. It's a Climate, and it's insulated, rated for R4.4, and it did wonders. I couldn't believe it, man. And the temperatures got down into probably the low 30s, upper 20s. All that weight that was in my pack, it's still there. Now instead of rainwater, it's all the ice that was frozen to the tent and the ice that was frozen to the wet clothes this morning. It's all in my pack, so it's still a good 40-pound pack, and I'm feeling it. I've been doing 25, 28 pounders here lately, and to have 25 or have 40 pounds in it now, that's tough. This is mile 76, and any through hiker that comes through here can look and see their future. Switchbacks that go all the way up to the top of that. That's a hike that my sister Goblin and I did 1 year ago this week, and it's a tough one. You go all the way along that range. Pretty soon you drop down into Warner Springs. I'll post a link to the video from that trip up here. So I made it to mile 77, and this is Scissors Crossing right behind me over here. There's a water cache underneath the bridge, and it was a long haul to get here. I'm definitely glad to be here. The condition of my feet is pretty bad. I'll show that to you right here. All in all, pretty good hike here. You know, there was the suck factor for sure. Waking up with my shoes frozen. All the clothes I took off yesterday were frozen. Having to put on wet clothes in the 25, 30 degree morning today. I mean, just I guess it's all par for the course for winter backpacking, but this was my first go at it. This is also my first go at 18 plus mile days. You know, yesterday was 19 miles, today will be 18 or 19 miles, and I've never done that in a weekend before. Never hiked in the rain really with my pack. Got some lessons learned there. I'd like to get a poncho for my pack. And then best thing of all, the icing on the cake, we are closing off a gap here. So now I will have backpacked from 41 all the way to 152. If you'd enjoyed the video, please hit that subscribe button, and be sure to click on the bell icon for the notifications when I have new videos. I'm Wood Glue, and you'll see me on the trail.